Hello and welcome. I am Lady Calamere, and this will be my 73rd video. It will be on the Celtic Welsh goddess Arianrhod. Arianrhod. Who is she? Her name means silver wheel. Arian, silver rod wheel. So, wow. She's becoming more and more popular in Wicca, witchcraft, paganism, but she's seen as a whore, a villain, and a poor excuse for a mother. A horrible woman. And how dare she question patriarchal order, patriarchal rule with her matriarchal freedoms. She's in the Mabinogion, but the tales of the ancient pagan deities were written down by Christian monks who sought to preserve the stories, however, downplayed the goddesses and gods as lower deities or fairies or sorcerers and sorcerers, not as powerful as they once were, and he put a Christian slant to it. Arianrhod was promiscuous, but in ancient pagan, that was no big deal. Being promiscuous wasn't considered a sin, but it is taboo to the Christians of that time, and even today, the Christians of today. A mother's right should not trump a father's rule. The Christians saw wife as property, woman as none other than daughter, mother, or sister, not a woman unto herself. So here's where she's confused with a whore, a villainess. Oh God, Loki, stop it. Had to put a new collar on him. So we see her stories are from a mother's right, a woman's right. The divine feminine being free and wild, not constrained by patriarchal nonsense and rule. Her home is the Corona Borealis. That's where her Caer Arianrhod is. Her castle's Caer Arianrhod, but also called Caer City, which means castle, and City means spinning or twirling. Loki, you have to know what no means. She's 3 months old. But also the Arianrhod's fortress is a reef off the coast of Gwynedd, Wales, which is supposedly and reputedly the remains of her island. Do you really have to do this, Loki? Come on. No. No. So Arianrhod's island is only visible during low tide. Her planet is the moon. She is a lunar goddess. Her metal is silver. Arianrhod is the daughter of Beli Muera, means great belly, and she is the daughter of the goddess Dawn, who is the progenitor of the deities. She is to has said to have, she has had 2 sons, Dylan of the waves and Tulu Tula Gufas. Yes, pronounced Tulu Tula Gufas, not Lula Gibbs. And we see that she is the mother of the god of the ocean and one of the gods of the ocean and one of the gods, the solar gods. One is bright and light. The other one is dark and dark-haired. Her animals is the owl, but also a wolf. That's not as well known, but her other animal is a wolf. Arianrhod is the goddess of the spinning wheel, which we know is the moon. But also she's the spinning wheel of life, death, rebirth. She is the goddess of fortune, fate. She is the spinning of the swirly skies, the stars. Yes, Milky Way is called Care Gwydion. She's also one of the things. She's also goddess of life, but one thing is she's a goddess of death. And a lot of people forget that she is a goddess of death. She rules her home, but also in land of Mania, where souls, the souls of the dead go to rest and go into rebirth eventually. So we see her as the goddess of the dead, death. Her sacred days are December, which just passed not too long ago, is December 2nd as a feast day. But also we can see her as Samhain, because she does deal with the souls of the dead. They go to her land. But she's also a goddess of life, so we could see her and worship her on this. Really? Did you really get yourself stuck in there? The spring equinox. Oh, he got himself out. Silly little fuck. Loki's so funny. Arianrhod's uncle was Math. She is said to be very beautiful, pale, and I have to say this, she's not like maiden mother crone, like they try to say that Blodaweth is a maiden and that she's the mother and that Morrigan is a crone. You know, that's more of a modern thing. Arianrhod is, like I said, the children of Dawn, but she is one of the 5 goddesses of Avalon. So we got Arianrhod, Branwen, Rhiannon, Ceridwen, and Blodaweth. So the North Star has also been attributed to Arianrhod. Arianrhod is a goddess of renewal. magic, wisdom, life and death. She's definitely what today we would view her as a feminist. We're not talking about a man-hating feminist. We're talking about a feminist as being her right to give blessings to her own son, a name, to bear arms, and that his right to have a wife. She's very stern at times, and she can be very fierce. Some of her stones that could be attributed to her and definitely would work with her is labradorite, moonstone labradorite, moonstone, fossil urchin, spirit quartz, Priscelli bluestone, a stone called Welch healer quartz. Those are some of the stones that you can work with her. So Arianrhod is sort of like Dawn. Okay, so Arianrhod considers herself a virgin, but not in the patriarchal rule virgin. We're talking virgin unto herself, not being tied down, not be identified with a man. We're not in the patriarchal father rule. A virgin is a woman who never had sex, who still has her hymen. So I just wanted to lay that out with her, because in the story she's considered a liar when Math asked her if she was a virgin, and she said, "I know not, Lord, that I am," that she is a virgin. Oh my God, stop! He's biting me, stop! Loki. So Arianrhod has two brothers, Gwydion and Gilfathwy. But Gwydion has other brothers, which show that Don had, Don, I would say, in Welsh pantheon, chose her consorts and stayed with them as long as she wanted. She wasn't just stuck with him. Arianrhod in the stories is seen as vindictive too, which is very sad because it has a patriarchal slant to it, which is really not fair to her. So let's get into a little bit of, her and the Mabinogi, which she appears in the fourth branch. The fourth branch is that what happened to Matt's footholder. Now he needs a footholder in order to rule. He needs to put his feet in the lap of a virgin. When he's not at war, in order to live, to rule, to be king. what happened is his footholder gets raped. She's no longer a virgin, but he marries her so that he can preserve her dignity. So Gwydion suggested his sister. So Math asked her, "Are you a virgin?" And she said, "I know not that I am, my lord." And so what he does is he takes his magic wand, he kind of twists, he throws it, puts it on the ground, he tells her to step over it. Which is weird because she steps over it and she, to her surprise, she gives birth. First to Dylan, then to an unformed blob. She's pretty much seen not as a virgin, she's humiliated, and she runs away. Now, Math names Dylan. He baptizes him in the waters and names him Dylan. And he goes and he crawls off into the ocean and rules. But the blob is picked up by Gwydion and put in a chest until he grows older. Now this boy is unlike a regular boy. He grows twice as fast. So by the time he's 4, he's about the size of an 8-year-old. And they go to Care Arianrhod, and they go to her castle. And she says, "Who is this?" "Oh, it's your son." And instead of greeting her son, she gets angry because she remembers humiliation, the sting of humiliation. And she says, "What's his name?" "He has no name." And she lays the first taboo, because she gives him 3 taboos. "And he shall never have a name unless I give it to him." So Gwydion stomps off, and Gwydion is a master magician, and he transforms himself and the boy who has no name, the bright-haired boy, and they become good shoemakers and are known across the land. And one story where Arianrhod orders these shoes because they can make golden leather, they can make beautiful shoes, and they're either too small or too big. So she goes there herself because she sees a craftsman, and they make her shoes. And at that point, he takes an awl and like a sewing out, and he hits a wren with it. And she was impressed, which this is weird because wrens are sacred birds. And she goes, "Oh, Tulu Goofus," the one with the bright boy of the sure hand. So she calls him by that name. So Gwydion and Tulu changed back, and he goes, "Oh, you named your son." And then she gave a second taboo. She said, "You may have run this round, but he shall never bear arms unless by me." So, of course, Gwydion is angry. He takes his nephew, and he teaches him horseback and how to wield a sword and how to fight. And later, he devises a plan. He goes back to City, to Arianrhod's castle, disguised as bards, and she invites them in, and they sing and they tell poems and stories. But when they made sure when everyone is pretty much asleep, he conjures up a naval force. And he quickly Gwydion wakes everyone up and said there's a invading force. So Arianrhod is getting everyone for battle. And Gwydion said, "We need to fight." And he tells the maids, have the maids help me, and you help the boy, arm the boy. Which she does. She arms him. And in which he calls off the fake fleet, and Arianrhod gets angry. She said, you could have caused my men harm with what you did. And he said, well, now you armed your son. And she laid the third curse, and she, Tulu Talagu, thus will never have a wife of this race on earth. And which Gwydion math make Blodai with, which I teach in one of my other videos. I gotta get Loki because someone's getting into trouble. Loki. Get the fuck out of there. That is bad. You're going in the room. That's it. You know not to go in there. Sorry, life with little kittens. So we see Arianrhod showing her right as a mother. But here's again, there's a deeper story. Tulu Tala Gufas had to earn his name, had to earn his right to bear arms. And Blodai Weds seemed to come in, and as the story goes, that he repeats, he starts it's a cycle of him being taken over by a darker lord, and then him taking over the darker lord, becoming the bright lord, the land choosing of who rules, who's fit to rule, and if you're not fit to rule, you're removed by the spirit of the land. So we see Arianrhod, beautiful card. And her card is the Wheel of Fortune, which is a good card for her. But let me show you. This is from the Llewellyn Tarot. Beautiful cards. Get it on Amazon or Llewellyn.com. Tarot cards that would definitely associate with her is the Moon, Wheel of Fortune, and definitely the Priestess. Those would be her tarot cards. And this statue is from Sacred Source. And I picked a good altar cloth for her, as it shows the Wheel of the Year, because Arianrhod does represent the Wheel of the Year. Like I said, the Wheel of Time. Arianrhod can teach us independence. Arianrhod can teach us. Oh my God, he's screaming now, little kitten. Let me go get him. No, let him cry it out a little bit. He's getting into too much. So she can help us with our own identity. That we also have a right to make up our minds and to choose what we want to do. Arianrhod is very powerful. She is said to also, she has a boy, like a consort, and I can't pronounce his name. However, she sleeps with whoever she wants to, and this was the threat to Christianity. She is also known to sleep with mermen. She prefers mermen. Now, in one of the stories in the Mebane, is that she and her sisters and her maidens drown. Eventually, she drowns. Tulu-Gufas has nothing to do with his mother after he's been armed. At least from what we see in the Mabinogion. She represents the moon. Great time to call her is during the full moon. There's not a lot said about the consort of Arianrhod. The stories have been lost. And I don't know too much about her consort at all. I'm sorry about that. So, no, Arianrhod is not just a sorceress. She is a goddess. She is a very powerful goddess, as I said before. She has nothing really to do with Dylan anymore, Dylan of the Waves, nor, like I said, the tumultuous relationship between Tulu and his mother. So Arianrhod can help. She deal her elements are definitely water, and her secondary element is air. Her symbols are spirals, stars, the corona borealis, the spinning wheel, the wheel of fortune, moon, anything that's silver, anything that's spiral. We can do the spiral dance that was by Starwood. I don't know if you know the author Starwood. The spiral dance is a great dance for her, by the way. I know it's a modern dance. She, in what we would call fate, karma, she deals with that. Reincarnation, so past life, present lives, future lives. So Arianrhod is both benevolent, but she can be stern. And do remember, she does deal with the spirits of the dead. So you can pray for your ancestors with Arianrhod. You can help them pass on if they haven't found peace, or if they don't know if they're dead. Some offerings to Arianrhod: silver candles, water. She does like chocolate, flowers, breads, perfumes, of course. She likes that. You can give her fruity wines. Even just some incense. Arianrhod's colors with silver, green, blue, and purple. Arianrhod is more associated with the night. I mean, I'm not saying you can't call her in the day, but she's more associated with the night. Arianrhod is, she is approachable. She's not the most approachable, but she is approachable. So I know when people tell me, or ask me, or is she more approachable? You know, yeah, she is. So what can I say about her? One of her weaknesses, if we say of strength or weaknesses, of strength is free spirited, and one of her, like, could be a weakness is vindictiveness. Now, her sacred plants is the silver birch and ivy. One of the other things that I would have to say I would have to associate with her when you think about it is spiders. Spiders are associated with weaving and fate. I know that's kind of reaching, but this is just something to think about, the spider. Her archetype is definitely, I wouldn't say, it's really weird. She's a death goddess dealing with the dead, but she's also a goddess, an archetype of light. And she's also sort of like the mother who is independent of her children, but she takes care of people, if that makes any sense. I think Loki has calmed down some. He was doing bad things. He was going into the kitchen sink, and he knows the cats are not allowed in there. So, Arianrhod can also help us with our fate. She can help us with our problems. She can help us to, especially women, to stop identifying with their men. Instead of just being a daughter, sister, or mother, to learn how to be more independent, to say, I am more than that. I am a student. I am a teacher. I am a police officer. I am a lawyer. I am a nurse. And among other things, I'm an artist, or I'm a singer. I'm a poet. I'm a blogger. You know, I like to go out with my friends. I like to be able to have more than one sex partners, you know. She's not the type of goddess to say, oh, I'm just a faithful wife and that's all I am. Mother, wife, and whatever. Grandmother, or I have no independence of my own. That's not her. That's not what she's into. So yes, she is vengeful. Yes, she could be vindictive, and she has that, like, the mother's curse. She is a Celtic star goddess as well as moon, but she's also a goddess of cycles. So she can help us to see our past, or and to improve our present so we can make a better tomorrow. So that we can smile today and be able to laugh tomorrow. She also actually rules fertility and childbirth. Bet you didn't think of that. Yep, she helps women give birth. She can also bless a pregnancy so that it would be healthy. She rules magic, the occult, witchcraft, and manifestation. She also rules artwork. We could say she's an artisan goddess. She weaves the tapestry of life. God, my neighbors are crazy today. So, Arianrhod is never seen as ugly or crone. She's always seen very beautiful, sometimes with either blondish or silver hair. Pale arms, pale complexion, but very beautiful. That's how she's actually described. Could she have known she was pregnant? Or was it Matt's trickery with the wand? Did Matt make her pregnant? Or did she somehow was kind of pregnant but gave premature birth? It's not stated. Because if they knew, because if she came into Matt's court, either she wore a dress to hide her pregnancy, which is highly unlikely, or that Matt, with his phallic wand, caused her to be pregnant. That's something, again, to chew on. How did she not know she was pregnant and give birth to a full-term baby, Dylan, and an unformed blob? Or was this unformed blob, like, still in the embryonic sac? But again, Gwydion picked him up and put him in the chest where no one knew. So, again, it's just something to think about. We see that Arianrhod sees Tulaku Foss as a symbol of her betrayal, a symbol of her humiliation. But again, seeing that she is femininely divine and matriarchal, how clear are these stories? It has the Christian slant in it. It's just something to think about. Of how our deities were preserved but yet slanted. Make no mistake, Arianrhod is a major goddess. She's not a minor goddess. She's a major goddess. Even though she is a mother's scorn, she has the mother's scorn. which Tuatulakufas became the mother scorn, people still call her mother. So Arianrhod will teach us to be our own person, to be wild, to be free, to live deliciously, live delightfully, to view sex as something, as our right, as beautiful, sensual, and pleasurable, and not as a taboo. All acts of love and pleasure are her rituals. She teaches us to rejoice, to be enfolded in rapture of the divine feminine and a divine our freedom, our right to be free. She teaches us to choose what we want to be instead of other people choosing for us. She's a goddess of freedom, not a goddess of being chained and bounded and gagged. To be free from all types of slavery. To be truly free. Dance underneath the underneath the stars. To drum and howl at the moon. And not bow down before anyone in being subservient in that way. To have joy upon this earth and to know we are truly free. She teaches us to be like her, beautiful and strong, but firm. So, like I said, her best time to do an spot is a full moon to her. But in December 2nd, and we could think of the spring, we could think definitely Samhain would be hers. I know I repeat a little bit, but that's how I learned, that's how I teach. So I really do hope you enjoyed this presentation. And if you did, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. I hope you did like this. And if you really like this, please subscribe to me. And know that I have other videos on my channel. Oh, my cats are so lazy. I gotta show you the new cat tree we got today. Well, not today, a few days ago. Because Santa Cat came early. As you see right here, this is a new one. And we have Lady Boss, who is sleeping. And since I do not have a Patreon account, what I want you to do, if you really like this video, is to look in the mirror and say, I am worthy. I am worthy of love. I am worthy of happiness. I'm worthy of goodness. Even if you're having a bad day. And to have Oh, here he is. There's Loki. Oh, he's mad. Hello. I know. I had to put you in the room because you were being bad. There's Joker. There's Lady Boss. And there's Sir Mew Mew. So, also, another thing I want you to do is to write something that you feel bad about, that you did wrong, that you want to forgive, or that someone else did something wrong to you. And what I want you to do is take the paper, say a prayer, put some intention, whatever, and just burn it and let it go. Something that you can let go. Maybe you're upset because you said something you shouldn't have to someone. Those, Loki. No. No. And just let it go. And to love yourself. That's what I want you to do. And thank you for watching. And as always, blessed be. And thank you for dealing with the chaos of Loki Lofison. Now say you're sorry, Loki.
I'm not sorry. Kiss my butt. That's what kittens do.
No, you're not going up there. So you have plenty of food. Why you have to eat out of the sink? Gross. Anyways, thank you for watching. Bless, as always, blessed be.